DBA YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to discuss about what is the benefit if we are going to initialize a cluster that WAL directory would be resides on the non-default location. And second thing, so how to initialize a cluster with non-default location of WAL directory. So third point is, in case if I initialize the cluster, so that particular WAL directory got filled up because of my activity, or I am unable to add a more space on the particular dedicated directory. So how to move it from that particular custom directory to into a new one. So we are going to discuss each step by step in detail. First thing is, what is the benefit we are going to see as a custom WAL directory. So you know very well, so when you are initializing a cluster, that WAL files would be resides under the PG data directory. So what is the benefit we will get if we are going to assign a dedicated storage for the PG data directory? The first thing is performance. So if we are allocating a dedicated storage for WAL files, it uses the parallel IO for WAL files, which means like a sequential writes, and the data files are like a random read and writes, leading to improve the vertical scalability, helpful for writes heavy workloads. And second thing is, so it prevents the WAL writes being started if that data disks file up. It avoids the panic shutdown due to the WAL space exhaustion. And third thing is, we can easily monitor the WAL directory. For example, you have initialized the cluster, the WAL files are in the traditional way we are keeping under the data directory. So due to your activity, or in case that WAL files are keep on growing, you are not aware so which file is causing your data grow, so your space was, the data directory was getting filled up. So if you allocated a data directory into the different mount point and WAL files are in the different mount point, so you can assume that okay, this is the WAL files are increasing, so this is what occupying my directory. So that monitoring we can able to achieve that. And third thing is, so in case of you have enabled that archive commands for PITR, like you have integrated that archive command with barman or PG backrest or local archiving. In case that particular archiving is getting failed, so due to the archiving fail, the WAL files will be keep on accumulating under the PG WAL directory. So until unless if you fix that archive command, so which also consuming that more WAL files and more space, which leads into that PG WAL directory has been filled up, the WAL causing that exhaustion. So to avoid that, we can use a dedicated directory for non-default location. So I hope you understand that. Let's deep dive into the practical. So how to create a WAL directory and how to initialize a WAL directory in the non-default location. Let's see each step by step in detail. So for this demo, I am using a PostgreSQL Docker setup. So here actually, first thing is we have to verify the bash profile. So you can just verify the bash profile. So this is the data directory and this is the path. Okay, so let's see that which PSQL it's using, that PSQL of this PostgreSQL bin. Okay, now we can first create that directory of where we are going to keep the WAL files. So for that I am going to use that -pg15 underscore WAL. So I have created a directory name called pg15 WAL. So let's verify the permission. So you can see that it has a full permission, but we have to make sure it should be like a 700 only, chmod 700 pg15 underscore wall. Okay, now you can initialize the cluster using initdb. So as I mentioned earlier, so we during the initialization we can custom the wall directory. So which option we have to use? So for that we can use initdb hyphen help. So there is an option name called -x, so which can be used for a location for a wall directory, or else we can increase the wall segments as well. So our goal is we are going to create a cluster using that different, which means non-default location of wall, right? So for that what we can do, init db -d. So we know that the data directory is by default. I'm going to use that -x, and the location was PGSQL. So PG15 wall. So let me make sure what is that. So this is a PG15 wall. Okay, and you can use Postgres as a super user. So let's initialize the cluster. So you can see that the cluster has been initialized successfully without any error. Okay, and before starting that we can verify how that wall, how the cluster has been initialized and how it is integrate the new wall directory has been with pg wall. So usually whenever you initialize the cluster, the wall file will show as a pg underscore wall, right? But if you use that -x, it has created a symlink. So pg wall directory has symlink with this particular custom directory, which means non-default location. So let's start the cluster using pgctl. So you can start with the systemctl as well. I'm just for this demo I'm using a pgctl. So let's connect that database using Postgres user Postgres. So let's perform some wall switches, whether it has been created under the new location or not. So I've just done perform some wall switches. Let's verify the location of wall pglib pgsql. Under the pgsql we know that this is our wall files. So you can see that there was a 2 wall files has been generated after performing multiple switches, right? And once it has been done, right now, so in which of the scenarios we will move that one custom wall directory into another. So for example, if you are deleting a bulk deletion and post that you are doing a like a vacuum, or like during your bulk insertion, you know that there was a quite wall generation will be expected. So at the time you are unable to handle the situation because you were due to some resource limit on the particular directory, you are unable to add a space on the pg wall directory, so that you want to migrate that particular directory into new location. Or else if a wall got filled up and exhausted, you anyhow you have to bring up your server from this directory into another directory. You have a huge space on the directory, you can just copy these wall files and you can bring up. In this two scenarios we can use this migration of wall files from one directory to another directory. So for that what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop this cluster and I will perform the activity. So make sure you have to stop the cluster, then only copy the all wall files to the that new directory. Otherwise you may face that data corruptions, so you are unable to bring up your server as well. So before performing this activity, make sure you have a latest backup or not. Okay, So I will just verify that status of pgctl. This is my default directory location. Verifying. So the cluster is up and running. I'm going to stop this one. So let's verify. Okay, and just to verify the status as well. So no cluster is running. Okay, so this is my directory. What I'm going to do, I will just a second. So first thing is, so this many wall files are there, and I have already one more file, sorry, let's say -lrth. So this is my, let me create a new one. We have to go if in pg15 wall underscore new. Okay, so you know that that particular wall should contains the chmod 700 only, chmod 700 of this one, and you can manually copy that all the contents from this old directory into new directory. So I will just use this one, -star pg underscore new. Okay, let's verify the less. So there are two wall files are there, and make sure you have to get the same number of files has to be present on both, which means your old wall directory location and new wall directory location. So you can see here there was a 213 wall files are there, here also 213 wall files are there. So we are good with that wall file copying. Now the next step is we have to remove the symlink, and that new symlink has to point to this current new directory. Okay, so I will go to the pg data directory. So inside the pg data directory, that symlink is pointing to that, which means like a old wall directory is pointing to the pg wall, right? So I'm going to move this pg wall into pg wall underscore backup. Okay, now so you can just see that after moving into the backup, this has been renamed. Let's create the symlink pointing out to this directory. So this is my new directory. I'm just copying this one, this into pg data pg underscore wall. Let's verify that lsif and lrth. So you can see that the new symlink was pointing to the pg wall. Okay, so to avoid the confusion, I will remove the old one. Let's verify that. So the pg wall is pointing to this particular new directory. Let's start the cluster using pgctl -d pg data start. So the cluster has been started. Also postgres -d postgres. Okay, so let's perform some wall switches to make sure that new wall files has been created under the pg underscore 15 wall new, which means our newly wall files. Okay, just a second, there was a 4 let me make sure the checkpoint Okay, let's go to our new world directory cd pg15 wall underscore new lsf and lrth. So you can see here, before starting the cluster, so we had only that two wall files are present over here. So now after performing continuous wall switches, you can see that there was few more wall files has been generated under this new directory. So this is how you have to safely perform this activity. In case if you missed any of the wall file, it will lead into the data corruption. So you have to be very careful and make sure you have to take a dump, which means logical backup as well. Safer side backup also you can take it to proceed further. I hope you will understand on this video. So thank you for watching.